Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Autastic, your comedian's guide to autism. I'm your host. My name is Kirk Smith, and my co-host buddy
Graham K. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another
Boom.
sweet episode. It's been a couple weeks, and we got some updates for you. Crazily enough, Kirk is in my hometown of Ottawa. How's it going, Kirk?
It is blistering out here. Well, blistering for Canada. It's 90-something degrees. It was a warm week. It did rain today, which is nice. And, I've been out here 10 days. I've been playing a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
I keep thinking when I go to the basketball court, it's going to be a bunch of, like, Luke Longley-looking, big, giant white lumberjack-looking men. It's mostly Asian guys at the Y. A lot of Chinese, a lot of Indians. We had some Afghanistan, some guys from Afghanistan. Is that Asia? I guess that is Asia, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And,
welcome.
It's been interesting.
Welcome to my high school. Growing up in downtown Ottawa, it was like, my high school was like half white. It was Lebanese, Somalian, Bangladeshi, and a lot of Chinese. That's what it's like there. Yeah, people immigrate to Canada. But anyway, Peter lives in Ottawa, and we're going to try and organize a lunch meeting for you guys tomorrow. I think you went last year. He really enjoyed it. He loves when
he was
people
on
buy
time,
him.
that's for sure.
Oh, he loves to be on time. He also loves when people buy him hamburgers and a Caesar salad, which almost guaranteed that's going to happen. I was just up in Ottawa a week ago today, and it was his birthday. He turned 40, and I brought up all of his presents. I drove up with my friend Bobby, my really funny comic named Bobby Condon. Bobby was opening for me at the comedy club in Montreal called the Comedy Nest.
Nice.
Great comedy club. And we were working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it just so happened that my brother's birthday was on Wednesday. And Ottawa is a 2-hour drive from Montreal. So it made sense. So we came up a day early. Bobby came, slept at my parents' house, and we basically drove up to see my brother and go out for dinner with the family. Bobby has never been to Canada. Ottawa is the nation's capital. You've seen it. It's like really, really pretty. Downtown especially, it's the nation's capital. It's got like a little mini sort of Big Ben Parliament building area.
Yeah, the government buildings are very British stone buildings, very Commonwealth look, I would describe it as, yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city.
Yep.
We immediately drove to the suburbs to eat in a restaurant in a parking lot beside an IKEA, because that's Peter's favorite restaurant. So it's like, Bobby, welcome to the nation, the capital of Canada. We are going to an IKEA to eat. And we drove there, and Peter had a burger, and I think somebody else also took him out for lunch. So he had a 2-burger birthday, which, you can't get any better than that. He had 2
It's tough
burgers.
to compete with that.
A 2-burger birthday. And when I arrived, I drove up and I had it was his 40th, so I splurged and I bought every single vintage toy on eBay that he wanted. Every single one. And
Brother Graham going deep.
Even one of the spaceships got stolen from my stoop, and I reordered it and didn't get a refund because I wanted to come through for the big man. And when he unwrapped everything, he said, "You did it, Graham. You got everything I asked for." And then he goes, "You didn't fail." Graham, you didn't fail. He said it twice. And Bobby laughed so hard.
And you leaned over and said, "Could you say that to Mom so she could repeat it too,
Yeah, yeah,
please?"
yeah. What a guy.
That's great. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing him. Yeah, yeah, it's on you. I put it out there several times. You need to set it up. You're his traveling secretary. You got to organize his schedule.
I did. I texted him. He's not the best at responding to texts, so I'll call him when I get off this call. We'll figure it
Yeah, we'll
out.
do it tomorrow, the next day. It's gonna be great.
But he's still limping, and it's annoying me 'cause after his fall in November, he's still limping. I'm not limping. I had surgery 2 months later, and I'm not limping. And he just doesn't. My parents just sort of let it slide. They're 75. They're not. The attention to detail is just falling off a little bit, and it's scary.
Well,
With my
in
parents.
their defense, it's not going to affect his NFL career. So I think a little limp it
It's
gives him a little
going.
character.
It's going to affect his entire life if he limps like that. It's going to get. He's going to be in pain his entire rest of his life. If he
He's in
doesn't
pain
start.
too, or he's just limping.
He's just limping, but the limping will cause arthritis. If when you limp like that, it causes muscle pain. It's a long-term issue, which is why you have to fix it. And somebody with a neurotypical person would be able to understand and follow the instructions of the physical therapist. And my parents aren't going. They're. I need to be there. I need to be in the room with the physical therapist so I can be the liaison between the physical therapist and my brother. My parents aren't doing it. They're kind of just letting it slide. And my brother's walking like a pirate. And he just turned 40. He can't live the next 40 years like this. So, and I'm like,
Sounds
Peter, you
like
got to go
he's got
heel
his
to
next
toe.
Halloween costume. I like it.
But I'm worried about that. And I'm worried, I just don't understand why that's happening. But other than that, he's doing great. Mentally, he's really happy. He's not using a cane anymore. And
Job's good.
job seems to be good. So he's happy. That's the main thing. How's JJ?
He's good. I've got so his mom's brother. She had one brother, one blood brother. Um, his wife is so his aunt, I guess, who has not seen him in probably, I don't know when's the last time she saw him, 10, 12 years. But she lives in Thailand, so it's it's a long way to go. But she's going to go to Sweden this summer to see some other family, and so I'm hoping that we're going to be able to piece something together for her to go see him. That's my big push. I'm always trying to get relatives to go see him, and So I'm going to miss her by a day. I think I get out there I want to say the 19th. I think
That's too bad.
of July, something like that, about a month out. So yeah, I'm trying to think if I can get her brother, because it's through marriage, right? So her brother is not really related to us or JJ really by blood, but he's getting a new place in another town, and so I'm trying to see if I can maybe get him down there to say hi to some people, and I don't know. That's one of my big pushes. I'm always trying to get him, a network of just family, people that care about him, just to hopefully outlast me.
It's smart. My parents do the same thing. Have done the same thing.
Yeah. Kind of share the burden a little bit. Not that he's a burden, but it's good. And the relationships with other people are always slightly different than with mom and dad. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to change the subject, eating lunch with Pete. But I know I'm a father, but I know he interacts differently with me than he does with his own dad. So just different, so.
Totally, 100%.
It is interesting. I'm only 10 years older than Pete, but I did find myself going into dad mode with him. It was kind of funny. I was thinking about that the other day because he, can kind of get in this like circular, I don't know what to call it, but like line of complaint. Yeah, where it's like, and so I'm just like, I'm not gonna, I do it in love, but I'm like, we're not talking about that for 30 minutes.
No, and then you say you're repeating. That's
Yeah,
the
no,
trigger for him.
okay,
And he goes, "Oh, I'm so
yeah.
sorry." He seems to understand that repeating is bad. And because you are in the autism world, you know how to do it, and you're not too polite. A lot of people
No,
are too polite.
I'm a little direct with him, like because if you're
Yes,
counting on him to
you
catch some
have to be.
subtle clues, he's not going to. So I should probably use the word repeating, but I just you've already explained this to me, and I listened, and I agree with you. Let's talk about something else. So I just very
Perfect.
direct about,
Yeah,
and then
I
he goes,
love that.
okay, let's
Yeah,
talk about something else. So
doesn't hurt him
so
one iota.
yeah, so.
Doesn't hurt his feelings at all. He's like,
And then I'll
okay,
say, I want to hear about this. What's happening with your job? I want to talk about this. And I just say, what I want to talk about. And then
I
I
love it.
guide his conversation back towards,
Yeah,
more current stuff.
we're trying to get him to ask people more questions when he talks. So maybe tomorrow or Sunday you can encourage, well, let's talk
Say,
about
ask
me.
me
Why don't
something.
you ask me a question, Peter? Or it's important. I'm just saying it's important to ask people questions.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I will do that.
Because otherwise he'll
I
just
could,
steamroll you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, a little bit. As long as the subject matter is as long as I can guide that, then I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk too much about the high school bullying and stuff like
No.
that. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago. But last night I had I'm at this place called Absolute. I've got
Yes.
4 more shows if you're in town. I think 1 Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, blah blah. And I had, as always, is a big, half a dozen people. Oh, my son, my this, that. So it was good. Felt good. Felt good to try to do my little 2 cents explaining where I'm at
Yeah.
and
It
that you're not
connects with
alone.
people.
Yeah.
Side note, I love that you posted on Instagram. You were like, 3 more nights in Canada.
What do you mean?
It's like me performing. It's like if I went and performed at the Dallas Comedy Club, and instead of saying
America?
I'm at the Dallas Comedy Club, I said 3 more shows in America.
Okay, but the difference is you live in America. I'm visiting Canada. I'm here once a year. If you want
If
to
a
see me,
Canadian
you get
went,
1
I'm
week.
3 more shows. But how do your Canadian fans know where to go? How do the Ottawa fans know where to go?
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
You
Okay,
could
that's a
be
good point. Now I see what you're saying.
there's a lot of cities that
That's a
in
good
Canada.
point.
Canada is not one megalopolis that goes from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. It's many
It's a lot
different
of
cities.
space.
And yeah,
That's a good point.
it's not Canada's not one city. A lot of Americans think Canada is one city or one place. When you can say I'm in Canada and everyone will know where you are. But
That's a good
Ottawa is
point.
near Syracuse, New York. Vancouver is near Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Halifax is near Maine. It's big. It's very big.
Big place. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did this riff last night about Canadian real estate being so outrageous, and they go, "Yeah, but there's nowhere to build." And I did this whole this is the second biggest country in the world. You can build literally everywhere.
Yeah,
No, but
the
it's
whole-
granite. Yeah, that's rock. You're allowed to build on rock. You can build on rock, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Canada real estate's incredible up here. Man, it's so expensive.
It's so expensive. There's a Instagram account where a guy he compares
I've seen this.
run down homes, and for the
Yeah.
same price you can
To
buy
castles.
a castle in France. Run down Canadian homes or a castle in France. Yeah.
A mold-infested house in Ottawa that needs a complete tear down, or
Yeah.
for less money, go buy a stone castle in France from the 1700s.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And the castle looks pretty great.
Yeah.
Speaking of our ancestors, should we do this in the news? You want to do this one, or you want me to do it?
I can do it. I think you read the last one.
All right.
I'll give you a good
Knock it
teammate.
out, buddy. You got this.
Give me a good teammate for once in my life.
Turn it
This
over,
is
New
from-
Stone.
This is from Science Alert, which I guess is a website. Seems reputable. Autism linked
Well,
with
it was-
DNA.
I was just going to say, it was at a bunch of different places. So I usually check. If it's been published like 2 or 3 other places, I'm like, that's real. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. Well, the author is David Nield, or Nield, Nield. So if you have any complaints, hit him up. Autism linked with DNA. Our ancestors inherited from Neanderthals, or Neanderthals. Some time deep in our evolutionary past, most likely more than once, a significant amount of Neanderthal DNA became mixed with our own, influencing everything from how we now fight illness to our appearance. A new study by researchers from Clemson University and Loyola University in the U.S. now suggests that some of this stolen DNA could be linked to autism spectrum disorder, with specific polymorphisms or variations in DNA passed down from Neanderthals being more common in people with autism compared with the general population. Side note, I know from previous research I've done, and also documentaries, that pretty much every white person, every European person has Neanderthal DNA in them.
Yeah, only African people are excluded, really.
Yeah. So don't make any horrible comparisons or conclusions. Anyway, the team analyzed DNA from 3,442 people in total with and without autism. The association held across black, non-Hispanic, white Hispanic, and white non-Hispanic people through the balance was different in each of those populations. It has been estimated that Eurasian-derived populations have approximately 2% Neanderthal DNA, which was acquired during introgression events occurring shortly after anatomically modern humans migrated out of Africa, the researchers write in their published paper. See, Kirk, I was right.
You're right on it, buddy.
The recent sequencing of multiple archaic human genomes, there has been growing interest concerning the influence of archaic human-derived alleles or modern health. Previous research has found Neanderthal DNA shapes certain structures in the brain. Since people with autism have similar neural patterns to each other, the potential role of Neanderthal genes in a relationship, the researchers wanted to look more closely. The study was able to identify 25 specific polymorphisms that affect gene expression in the brain, which are more common in people with autism. In some cases, epilepsy was also involved, a condition that autism is often accompanied with. Kirk
My
knows
son's
about
got that. Yep.
For example, a variant in the SLC37A1 gene, that's my favorite, was shown to be present in 67% of non-white Hispanic autistic people with epilepsy.
You said that wrong, but yes. White, non-Hispanic, not non-white. But go ahead.
That makes more...
Sorry.
When I read it, I was like, well, this just proves everything we just said up top.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Quick correction. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Thank you for reading along. White, non-Hispanic autistic people with epilepsy who also had autistic family members, compared to 26% of autistic people without epilepsy and 22% of people without autism or epilepsy. It's not that people with and without autism differ in the amount of Neanderthal DNA they possess, but rather how common certain specific bits of Neanderthal DNA are. What's more, this varies between individuals, so we're talking about a very complex picture here. However, the evidence outlined here is strong enough to warrant investigation in future studies. We've still got a lot to learn, both about Neanderthals and their lasting impact in our psychology and about how autism changes the way the brain functions. We're still not sure exactly how Neanderthals and ancient humans originally interacted, for example, or how autism changes brain connections so that people with the condition see the world in a different way. This is the first study to provide strong evidence for the active role of subset of rare as well as common Neanderthal-derived alleles in autism susceptibility in multiple major American populations, write the researchers. We hope the research will lead to further investigation into the ongoing influence of ancient, hybridization between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals in brain development, human intelligence, and overall human health, as well as spur work into additional clinical research for the complex population. Well, Kirk.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting, when it says they don't know how the humans and Neanderthals interacted. Well, there's only one way to share DNA that I know of. But
Yeah.
I think one of the most exciting things about AI to me, or at least supercomputing, is they are going to be able to feed all these genomes into a supercomputer, and the whole thing's just going to get a lot easier to decipher. And I think in the next 10 years, well, if this podcast lasts this long, you could better look back and see if I was a prophet or if I just looked like a failed youth pastor. But I think it's interesting. I think, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know how this helps, but it's interesting that they're. Maybe we'll go back in time, and we'll get a time machine and figure out who had sex with who, which human had sex with Neanderthals.
Well, first we'll kill Hitler, then we'll do that, then we'll buy Apple stock, sure. But
yes.
I just think it's interesting that, there's conjecture, or there's data that suggests that from Neanderthals we developed a more robust immune system, and so if it gives clues as to what might have happened, in the sense that if the Neanderthals were stronger, had a more robust immune system, and smarter, because some other research says smarter, then why aren't they around? Well, this could be one of the reasons, yeah.
Totally.
So there's got to be, yeah. I think we did it, buddy.
We did it.
Go ahead. What do you got this week?
Okay. I'm going to be in Texas. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, performing at the Creek in the Cave on the 27th of June. And on the 28th of June, I'm going to be at Lafayette Comedy in Lafayette, Louisiana. And on the 29th of June, I'm going to be at the Riot performing in Houston, Texas. And then the very next morning, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to fly to New York. And then I have to be on a cruise ship on Sunday. I'm killing myself. I don't know why I do this to myself. But,
for laughter.
And then, so those are the big shows coming up. I have door deals on all of them. So, hey, folks, come on out. I get a piece of the ticket. Sales. So, yeah. And what about you, Kirk?
I've got 5 more shows in Canada. And if you're like, specifically what city, it's a big place. Good question. I'm glad you asked. I'm in Ottawa, specifically in Little Italy, which is very little, if you ask me. But great venue. It's called Absolute Comedy. Ticket sales look pretty good tonight. There's still a few tickets left for Saturday, and Sunday is also available. I'd love to see you. Then after that, ships, Europe, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, man, it would be a big help to me if you would subscribe to my YouTube or add me on Instagram, or all that stuff helps us. You know how that works. My name is Kirk Smith Comedy on all those. Grandma, what's your social?
I'm at Mr. Graham K on Instagram and OK Graham K on TikTok and Graham K Comedy on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. We love it. I post comedy on there all the time.
Oh yeah, and shout out to the people. We had a couple Audastics came to see me in Toronto last weekend at the Absolute. Sorry, I forgot to give you shout outs. Thanks so much for stopping by and saying hi.
Downtown Canada. All right. Bye-bye,
Asian part of
everybody.
Canada. Have a great week, guys. You can do it.